Hey everyone, how you doing today? It's me, David, coming to you from my whiskey den here in Central Ohio. I figured for this month, since it is the second anniversary of the channel and everything, going into the third year, I wanted to maybe this month take the opportunity to revisit some of the bourbons I've sampled in the last 2 years that I didn't really care for that much. And really, top of my list is Eagle Rare. So much hype over it. It's, you think I say this every so often. You think it would solve the world's problems the way people ooh and ah and oogle and ogle over this bourbon. This is from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. It is aged for 10 years. It says so right there on the bottle. It's 90 proof. This is using the Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1 mash bill. And let's just, first off, let me just pour a little into my glass. And yeah, so I have not gone back. I remember my first impression, my first impression of this bourbon. It was really oaky, heavy tasting. Didn't really care for it. Obviously, I've sampled it a few times since then, and it went from really oaky and heavy, woody, not very palatable to me. Then it kind of shifted to tasting like black coffee with cream, which to me again isn't very palatable. So for those that aren't aware of what happens with bourbon when you buy it, when you first open it, you get the neck pour. I mean, it's probably here. And that it's the first pour of the bottle. And when you get further down, air gets involved. Air hits the bourbon, opens it up, gives it a different flavor. So, which is why usually the sweet spot on bourbon is about right there, about half a bottle. It mellows, the flavors enrichen, you get more hits of stuff. That's why when you first open a bottle of bourbon, it's pretty good to let it sit in the glass maybe 20 minutes to a half hour and let that air get to it. But when I do the videos, I'm opening that bottle for the very first time. So I'm really giving you a review of that neck pour. So here we go. Let's see what we got. All right. Well, it smells a lot more mellow than it did at first. Um, this should be a really good bourbon. 90 proof. That mash bill number 1 from Buffalo Trace is a little bit sweeter, low rye mash bill. It smells like a nice rich bourbon, nice brown color on it. Let's see what we got. Now see, I'm now getting that sweetness. I'm now getting a nice balance. It's not bitter. It's not oaky. It's actually a pretty nice bourbon. Man, see, why can't on something like this, let's say Buffalo Trace Distillery, just let it air out for a while before you bottle it. Let it get to this stage. Let it get to this point. It's warm. It feels nice and warm. Is it my favorite bourbon on the shelf? It's not. But let's try one more thing. One more try. There's no more bitterness, no more oakiness, no more coffee with cream. It's a very well balanced, warming bourbon. Still has a little bit of a bitter taste on it to me. Um, what does it make me feel? One of had a suggestion through one of the comments. How does this bourbon make me feel? Kind of sad in a way. I mean, it's um, a decent bourbon, kind of like a dry red wine type of deal. Where, and I don't like a super dry red wine, so I'm going to try to equate this to something else that I enjoy is red wine. I like my red wines a little, just a touch sweeter. I love a good Shiraz, um, Cabernet Sauvignon, something along those lines where you get spice but sweetness. There is really hardly any sweetness to this bourbon, which is probably why it's still kind of a turnoff to me. Buffalo Trace, the Buffalo Trace bourbon has a nice corn sweetness to it that I do like. However, the Eagle Rare is just too like dry and bitter. There is a bitterness to it, so it makes me kind of sad. Makes me want to grab a bottle of something else, and maybe just enjoy this when I have friends over, or just keep it as is on the shelf like that. But not a bourbon I'm going to grab and drink and enjoy on any sort of regular basis. Again, makes me feel a little sad. If I want something a little bit richer and nicer along the same vein, I would just drink a Wild Turkey 101. Not that this compares in any way, but if I want something that's going to be a standard, dependable bourbon, I wouldn't go for this. I'd grab, like I said, a Wild Turkey product instead. Something that I would enjoy a little bit more, that I can find, I can afford. So there you go. Eagle Rare, kind of sad, kind of depressing, especially since I hunted it down for such a long time, and this is why I try to do these videos, because you might be looking for a bourbon, like a unicorn bourbon or something you can't find. You may see this for 75 or $100 if you're in a non-state regulated state. And I don't want you disappointed like I am. So I'm taking the bullet for you. Speaking of which, I'd probably drink bullet bourbon over this anyway. So there you go, people. So Eagle Rare, gave it a second try for you guys. Does not live up to the hype. For me, you might enjoy it. If you do enjoy Eagle Rare, let me know in the comments what you like about it. Because I'd pick Benchmark over it, definitely. So there you are. Until next time, it's me, David, coming to you from my whiskey den here in Central Ohio. Hope your next pour is your best pour. We'll catch you soon, and thank you so much for watching. Hey everyone, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe so you can be notified of future videos as they drop. Thanks for watching.